Hey everybody, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina Kristina. We've got an interesting book today, and there will be pounds of spoilers. I was talking to somebody today. Please hit the like and subscribe. Let me know I'm doing a good job. I could use all the likes and subscribes I can get. I'm not doing very well. Sometimes I have 5, 10 people subscribe, and then the next day 20 unsubscribe. So I always end up in the negative in this way. Don't know why. But anyways, we are talking my favorite author, my favorite series, book 46. We're making our way to the new one, Ransom, that comes out in a couple weeks. We are talking Dark in Death, book 46. And like I said, I'm a book on CD person. I love these books. I love listening to Susan Erickson give me a narrative. And this book has got a weird jacket. I don't know how much you can see, but I'm going to try and show it to you. So what do you think? Weird? Definitely colorful. But, so I was thinking, if you're a horror fan, have you seen that movie? Have you seen that horrible horror movie? I've got one better for you. No. Want the original? Well, you see how this turned out. So, I recommend, if you want to see just a second. If you like scary movies, go see that one. Pull it up. They're here. So anyways, let's get back to our little book here. I hope you have enjoyed Janet last month, and we're still finishing up on JP. We got a couple more JA Jances to go as soon as I find them. And we are continuing with JD Robb, Dark in Death. Apparently, someone, let's say, it's hypothetical, but it could happen. And it may have happened, we just don't know about it. But somebody writes a mystery series, a murder mystery series. And there's somebody out there that decides, I can do it better. And decides to kill people in the way it was done in the books. So that's what this lady or person does. So she convinces people, she commits murders according to a book, but Eve doesn't learn that right away. Let me rephrase now. Eve is lieutenant in the New York City Police and Security Department, and Peabody is her partner. And McNabb is Peabody's partner and cohab. He also works in the electronic division of the Central. Feeney is Eve's mentor and original trainer. He is now captain of EDD. Mira is the department shrink. Rourke is her husband, and she has some people on her squad: Reinecke, Jenkins, Baxter, Trueheart. Trueheart just got his detective badge, so we're all proud of him. Mavis is a longtime friend. Um, Trina does hair and makeup for everybody. Eve is afraid of her, but that really doesn't play too much in this book. So there's not too many. It's really just your core cast, this book, with a few extras here and there, but it's basically just your core. And sometimes I enjoy that more. So Eve gets a call in the middle of the night. Their Blaine Delaney's has a couple of series, the Hightower Chronicles and the Dark Novels, and they have a hero and heroine, and that's where the murderer took her ideas from. So she gets called. She's on her way home, and she gets a call saying that there's been a murder in the theater. And when they get there, there was a theater that does old movies, and they were running Psycho, and the person was killed during the shower scene, during the oh, she's doing it for me. Bing, bing, bing. I gotta fix her. She's 9:30. I want to go back to 10. She was at 10 for 20 years, and I put a battery in her. She ran for one day. Now she's stuck at 9:30. I'm gonna put her back at 10. So what are you doing, young lady? Smoke. Okay. So, they get to the theater and they discover that the person was killed during the slashing scene in the shower. So everybody had their eyes closed or screaming or yelling during that particular scene because it's really scary and eerie. And that's when the person was killed. So then she returns home after all that, and as you know, I cannot do these review books without sharing them with you, especially my Eve Dallas. So let me see what I put here. In the last book, we discovered that McNabb was overworked. He was working 2 or 3 cases, and he was putting his all into it because he's so good. He's such high in demand with the electronics that he does, that he was really, really burnt out and really, really dragging. So Peabody had mentioned it, and Eve offered her up their house in Mexico with free transportation and the free house, and Peabody and McNabb went after the last book. So I know I told you a mad time we had in Mexico and thanked you a zillion times. So don't do it again. What I didn't say, Peabody continued, mostly because I wanted to see if the result stuck, was how McNabb conked on the shuttle on the way to the villa, just dropped out, and he extremely loves flying. And after we got there and Bast had a couple of bird bath margaritas, took a swim, he conked again, even before we continued to bask with sex and slept out for 12 solid. Like you said, he needed a break, and he got one. You and Roarke made it so he got one. I've been okay if he'd slept the entire time we were there, but the 12 solid really helped, so we had lots of sex. Is this how you say thank you? We had lots and lots of sex, Peabody said, unabashed. Lots of drinks and lots of sitting around doing nothing. Lots of everything that wasn't work, and it stuck. He's got his bounce back. McNabb always bounces, but it's the real deal again. The natural bounce. It's a load off, Dallas. I just wanted to say. Good, so shut up. So then they have to notify some next of kin and co-workers stuff to go through that. Then she goes home and talks to Roarke, and there's a couple of really cute moments. I haven't gotten to them yet. The biggest cute ones at the end. And I am going to spoil it because it's a really cute moment and I really, really like it. And you have to love these books. Um, she's had her night. She's home. She slept, and she wakes up, and there's someone on top of her. I've had that feeling. Hey, Smoke, Smokey, where'd you go? Look, you're creeping me, okay? Knock it off. She walked to the wall panel, opened it to the auto chef, programmed the first cup of life-sustaining coffee, and got it. No Somerset and Rourke in one of his Emperor of the Business World meetings. Still, the man who thought of every damn thing usually fed the cat when the house was Somerset free. Turning, taking the first cup of good, strong black coffee, Eve eyed the cat. Are you bullshitting me, Tubby? He jumped off the bed, a definite thud, sat, stared. His bullshit generally took the tack of sucking up, rubbing that pudgy body against legs, looking sad or appealing. Now he just looked pissed, righteously. Okay, I'm buying it. She programmed kibble, and though he didn't deserve it after costing her a half hour down, she added some salmon. Come here. Come here. Do you wake your daddy up every night, every morning? She comes in, feed me. Feed me. Come here. Come here. Huh? She wakes her daddy up every morning. Doesn't wake mom up. Knows better than to wake mom up. But can wake dad up. He's the old softy. So then she's with Morris doing the autopsy. And I'm not going to talk about I'm not going to spoil that. But this part just cracked me up. The cat woke me up, so I got an early start. Our Galahad's not ill, I hope. No, fat and healthy. He wanted breakfast, and apparently we're there to serve. Come here, Smoke. Come here, Smoke. No, fat and healthy. He wanted breakfast, and apparently we're there to serve. Anything I can use it. And he tells her a few things, and then he tells her that at the time of death, the victim was enjoying lightly salted popcorn Diet Coke. And Eve says, where is it now? I don't get how anybody enjoys popcorn if it's only lightly salted. I'm a butter person. I don't need the extra salt on my french fries. I don't need the extra salt on my popcorn. I want the extra butter on my popcorn, but I don't want the extra salt. I don't need salt. Eve would also like to probably drink syrup on her pancakes because that's how she is. So that was just a cute little scene. And then after the murder hits the airwaves and Nadine gets a hold of it, the author Blaine Delano comes in and tells Eve that the murders were based on her books. She can see the similarities, and they start forming a pattern, and they investigate, and they find out. Now we also have another character update, and I'm sorry. I like to share. I enjoy these books tremendously. So Nadine comes. Nadine brought Delano in. So Nadine says, it was great seeing you too, Nadine said dryly as she rose. Since we're on books, I've got the Red Horse Chronicles about ready to submit. I want you to see it first, and there's no point in giving me a pained look. The book's happening. Like you to read the manuscript before I send it off, just like the iCove agenda. It was your case. Yeah. Your enthusiasm and support sings in my writer's soul. Meanwhile, since I'm getting an early start, I think I'll visit a couple journalism departments, start dealing with getting myself an intern. I've got a candidate for that. So you mentioned before, Nadine remembered. Where does he or she go to school? She. I call it the school of hard knocks. She's smart, annoying, relentless and sly. She's like you, basically. How old is she? I don't know. 15. I was looking for a college student. Eve just shrugged. It's your deal. If you decide to take a look at her, it's Quilla Magnum. She's at Harbor House now, but she'll be transferring to Rourke's Adeum when it's ready in the spring. She's in a shelter. I'm not looking to take on a troubled youth. I'm after an intern, someone I can mentor. Your deal, Eve said easily, gathered up the file, got to her feet. Did she know any of the dead girls you found in the building, Rourke's rehab? Ask her. I've got a fresh dead girl to deal with. Opening the door, Eve jerked her thumb in a get-out gesture. Nadine narrowed those feline eyes. You threw that at me on purpose. I'm not taking on a teenager. Whatever. And leaves. And you'll have to read the rest of it. And then she talks to Mira. Then she goes and investigates some of the residents of the victim. Now, why did I want this section? I make these notes and then I don't. Oh, after they leave the where they were, because I don't want to spoil too much. Yeah, I mentioned if you were watching my Janet Ivanovich reviews previously, I survived until about book 20. We just did book 30. There's 30 in the series thus far. I survived until book 20. Before I bought the donuts and gained 4 pounds. I'm trying to lose weight, and I gained 4 pounds. And we all know how Peabody is always trying to lose weight. Everybody thinks she's just fine the way she is, but she has this mental picture. So she says, I would have been all right with walking, Peabody managed. I would have been all right with it. Good, because you score a slot like this, you keep it. We'll hike it to the theater from here after we check out the apartment. It's because I bought that Danish on the way into Central. I wasn't going to. I told myself not to, but it was right there, all glossy and full of the gooey yumminess. McNabb ate too, but does his skinny ass care? No, it does not. I thought you had loose pants. I took them in as an incentive. Peabody checked her waistband as they hoofed to the building. Maybe I should have left them loose as a reminder. Your ass is smaller. Peabody stopped, jaw dropping. What did you say? I've got eyes. Eve kept walking, forcing Peabody to jog to catch up. They don't latch themselves onto your ass, but I've got eyes. I want to kiss you on the mouth with tongue. Try it, and your marginally smaller ass will have my boot marks imprinted thereon. You gotta love it. I'm sorry. I like Peabody and Eve's interaction, and I look yellow. It's the sun. I'm an amateur at all this. I'm new at all this. 500 videos. Besides the fact, nobody's watching. I'm pretty sure there's nobody even ever seeing this part of the video. So they catch up with some other cops in their division who had the earlier cases. She speaks with the author several times. The author's ex-husband is a pain in the butt, and he deserves to go to jail just for existing. So they're in nah, we really don't want to do the part. You can read about the sex yourself. So then Nadine shows up again. more than you thought? Roarke asked when her servant came up. Her eyes went to bleed. I can narrow it, she mumbled. I will narrow it. But she felt obliged to skim through first. Double Christ, Nadine's on there. Nadine? Our Nadine? Wait. There are a couple articles on gossip sites, blah blah. Jesus, photos too, stuff about her having dinner or going to a concert with Jake Kincaid. That's the guy in the band. I know who he is at Avenue A as well. Strong, innovative rock musician. Strong and innovative enough that they've stayed at the top of their game over 2 decades. And Nadine is seeing him? Yeah, she is. According to the stuff, he was performing like Mavis at Madison Square the night of the massacre. He was backstage hanging with Nadine when I got back there. He called her Lois. Lois? It only took a minute. Ah, as in Lane. Clever. And if you're worried, I wouldn't be. Kincaid has a reputation for being a hard-working musician, and one with a reasonably clean style. Nadine doesn't fit the victim here. Lois Lane, Superman, Clark Kent, reporters. Nadine is a reporter. Sharing more. I like to share my books. Oh, she goes into her squad and she said, "You're wearing the hat." "I know, boss. It's on my head." "Why are you wearing the hat?" He shifted to aim his bulky look at his partner. Detective Carmyle smiled her most serene smile. "A little bet on the Knicks game. Chicago wins, I bring lunch for a week. Knicks win, he wears the hat for a week." "You bet against the Knicks, you deserve the hat." "I grew up in Chicago," Santiago protested. "That's gotta count. The people of New York pay your freight, Santiago. That's what counts." The sulk deepened. "Don't you own the Celtics?" "Rourke owns the Celtics," she corrected. "And when they play the Knicks, they're the enemy. We have standards in this division. Mets, Giants, Knicks, Rollers, Rangers. Get on board, Detective, or you may wear that hat permanently." "What about the Yankees, the Jets?" Eve stared coldly. "Don't make me write you up." Now, I brought this up because from where I come from, now, a little east, a little wester, and a little easter, there may be a different story. But I lived in the middle. So I was a Mets and a Yankees fan. And it depended on who was winning, whose side I was on. But they called this thing the Subway Series. That's because the two teams one was in the Bronx, one was in the Queens, and you took the subway to get to each stadium. And that is why it was called a Subway Series. And I was also a Long Island Rangers hockey fan. The Rangers are a hockey fan. And my stepfather was a severe Giants fan. They ruled the world. While my little mentally handicapped brother that I talk about in my tag video, even though he's mentally handicapped, he knew enough or could understand enough that it irritated the life out of his father that he would always root for the opposite team. If the Giants were playing any other team, he always rooted for the other side. So he knew enough or could comprehend enough that irritated the life out of his father, and that's what he did. So I just thought, I don't know, I was sharing. Then we get a moment that we have not seen in a few books, and I like the fact that we took the chance or took the time to bring it up again. Got an auto chef in your office. Go use it. It's not my fault you don't know how to use it. It's not my fault you've never taken the time to examine said auto chef, and you have to wait for your husband to tell you what's in there. Eve stopped at vending. She wanted something cold, and if the machine gave her grief, well, she'd kick its ass the way regulations had prevented her from kicking someone else's ass. She plugged in for a tube of Pepsi, snagged what it shout out, that this is a damn diet soda, you F. Inappropriate language noted. Fester's Diet Cream Soda offers classic cream taste. There's no nutritional value, and certain additives listed on request may pose health risks, including. Shut up! Just shut the F up and give me my damn Pepsi. Second incident of inappropriate language noted. Warning, a third incident will result in suspension of vending privileges. Note this, I will rip your circuits out with my bare hands, blast them to oblivion with my police issue if you don't give me my damn Pepsi. Threats of vandalism will be reported. Harcourt Detective Clerk's acts of vandalism will result in suspension of vending privileges and a $2,000 fine plus cost of damages. Eve started to tell the idiot computerized pain in her ass she wasn't Hargrove Detective Clerk that we considered. Give me the tube of Pepsi, I ordered. It shot one up. Your account has been charged for one tube of Pepsi. Pepsi, the choice of generations. That would be Hargrove's account, Eve thought as the machine spouted off its hype and warnings. You just gotta love Eve. Then we have a little surprise. Remember a few chapters ago we were talking about Nadine? Nadine stood in her bullpen laughing with Santiago as every cop in the place come here, scarfed down brownies. Any cop currently in the field using the John or doing their damn job trying to save reincarnated Skank's life would be dead out of luck, brownie-wise. She noted Nadine had, as instructed, brought a camera, and the woman appeared to be reading the division's motto posted over the break room door with interest. She noted, too, Nadine had brought along her new intern. Quilla perched on the corner desk of Peabody's desk, chattering away and eating a brownie. She'd whacked her hair short with sharp points over both ears, a trio of them at the neck, and a grouping of narrow ones over the forehead. Some of them were blue you might get if you lit gas on fire, then tossed in some napalm. Eve stopped, wondering why bodies. The kid spotted her, grinned. She added that blue to her lash tips, too. Quilla said, hey, aren't you supposed to be in school or something? Waiver for the day. Educational career training. Thanks for the recommend. Yeah, don't blow it. I'm gonna rock it so solid. Quilla looked around as she spoke. Been in the cops, but never in homicide before. I figured it would look more chill and spill. We mop up the blood and gore every morning. Quilla snickered and spoke again before Eve could turn to Nadine. They took us on a field trip last month. Great. Peabody, find some place to plant the kid while they took us to Andean. It's a wacky name, but frosty whack, so they let us go through and look at the plans, and a couple of people who were going to work there talk to us about what's the what and all that. Okay. It's going to be sweet, you know. It's going to be solid sweet. We even went up to the roof and they talked about the memorial garden for the girls who got killed and how we're going to have a garden up there. I hung back when everybody went down. We weren't supposed to, but you don't always do what you're supposed to do. Quilla matted a grin with exaggeration shrug. What's the fun in that? Anyway, I did because I wanted a minute up there by myself to think what I've been thinking since it all went down. One of those girls could have been me. I mean, the crazy guy was gone and all, but that's just timing, right? It could have been any of the girls who going to live in the new digs. They said maybe it'll be ready in May, and that's not too long to wait. I like my character Ketchup. Um, and I mean to write this down. I've been forgetting. But the motto in that up on their bullpen wall: no matter your race, creed, sexual orientation, or political affiliation, we protect and serve because you could get dead, even if you were an asshole. So they're investigating. There's another cute moment in the yarn store that people gives Peabody yarn because she just loves to knit. Peabody's a knitter. She's a free agent. She likes to knit. Then Nadine brings Jake to Central because he's a witness to something, and he helps out a great deal. And then we have this incident with Feeney, and I must share the incident with Feeney. It is a really, Feeney was her mentor. He brought her up. He brought her into homicide. He trained her, and she died for the sanity of Feeney's office. He leaned on the side of his desk in his ship brown suit. He had what might have been a coffee stain on his ship brown tie. Got a face. Got a name and location to go with it? Not yet. We'll get her. Problem on this end? Her, and then they go through the case bit. Straight and shoved a finger at Eve. Jake Kincaid, Avenue A? Yeah, she met him at the garden during the assault. Pulled you off the street duty and into homicide? His eyes looked a little fierce, a little wild. Eve eased back a step before she got poked again. No, I was kind of busy trying to get the face of a serial killer, so I could, discourage her from killing the next person on her list. Anyhow, how was I supposed to know you want to meet him? Now Feeney stepped back. Do you know me at all? What did I have playing when I trained you on stakeouts? Music, rock music. And who would be my favorite rock band? The Stones. That is correct. What did I try and obviously fail to teach you about music? About Jagger and Clapton and Springsteen? About Kirkland, Dobler, and Jake Kincaid? They all rock. They are the voice of their generation. My old man's and his, mine, yours. Jake Kincaid and Avenue A followed in the footsteps of the great. Have you heard their cover, Painted Black? But he's in your house and you don't tell me? I'll get him back. You'll get him back. Yeah, I'll fix it. I've got to get back down. I'll fix it. She escaped. Burn it up, the anthem of your generation, Feeney shouted after her. So as she leaves Feeney, she calls Nadine. Help, I need a favor. And I have to, I won't, a few pages later in the case, one more thing, I'm sending you an address. He offered her a mournful stare. You got any detectives in your own division? Non-work related. It's Kincaid's recording studio, Avenue A. The band is doing whatever, a session. They expect to start at 1500 today. Go through till maybe 2300. It gives you a big window. You're cleared for it. Cleared for it? Feeney said blankly. To to hang, to watch, listen. He didn't have time to come back to Central, but you can go there if you want. I'm cleared to watch Avenue A record. The frosty tone melted in awe. Yeah, I said I'd fix it. When he didn't speak for a full 15 seconds, Eve worried he'd suffered a small stroke. Feeney, you didn't fix it. His voice came out raw, then went to booming. You killed it. Holy shit. Holy mother of shit. Best day of my life. Don't tell my wife, my kids, my grandkids I said that. Holy hot, ever steamy. She couldn't tell, sure she could tell anyone ever, that the cop she considered to be as steady, cynical, bullshit-free as any she'd ever known currently looked a little insane. There might have been a tear in his baggy eye. Okay, so we're good? Good my ass, kid. This is how you rock it. Okay then, I've got to get this, murder stuff. So, I will leave you with that. And my favorite author in the whole wide world, J.D. Robb, and the audiobook, Dark in Death. And don't forget the really crazy, 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 crazy cover. And because of a mishap on my own part, the next book you should see in the next couple days is Leverage in Death, book 47. Let's see. Oh, and it's got a puzzle as a cover. So we'll talk about that when we get to it next. So please hit the like and subscribe. Let me know I'm doing a good job. I hope you enjoyed my review. Like I said, someone is killing people based on the author's book. It should be interesting. I enjoyed it. I love my Eve Dallas. I rented and raved about it today at the shop. It was awesome. Have a good one.